The Seminole Wars, fought between the United States and the Seminole tribe in Florida, spanned two key periods, the First Seminole War, 1817 to 1819, and the Second Seminole War, 1835 to 1842. These conflicts were rooted in territorial disputes, cultural tensions, and the U.S. government's broader objective of removing Native Americans from their ancestral lands to make way for white settlers. The Seminoles, a group formed from a mix of Creek refugees, runaway African American slaves, and other Native Americans, had established a foothold in Florida. They resisted U.S. attempts to take their lands, setting the stage for one of the most prolonged and costly series of Native American conflicts in U.S. history. The First Seminole War erupted as the United States grew frustrated with the Spanish-controlled territory of Florida. Florida had become a haven for runaway slaves and a base for Seminole raids into Georgia and Alabama. General Andrew Jackson, known for his aggressive policies against Native Americans, led U.S. forces into Florida in 1817. He attacked Seminole villages, destroyed crops, and targeted Spanish forts at St. Mark's and Pensacola. Jackson's campaign was controversial, as it violated Spanish sovereignty, but it succeeded in pressuring Spain to cede Florida to the United States through the Adams-Onís Treaty of 1819. While this marked the end of Spain's rule in Florida, tensions between the Seminoles and the U.S. only deepened. The Second Seminole War, which began in 1835, was even more intense and far-reaching. It arose primarily from the Indian Removal Act of 1830, a federal law aimed at relocating all Native American tribes east of the Mississippi River to lands in the West. The U.S. government negotiated the Treaty of Payne's Landing in 1832, which ostensibly required the Seminoles to leave Florida, but the treaty's legitimacy was questionable, and many Seminoles, led by the charismatic and fiercely independent Osceola, refused to comply. Tensions escalated into open warfare after Osceola and his followers killed federal Indian agents and ambushed U.S. troops in the infamous Dade Massacre, where nearly all 108 soldiers in a detachment were killed. The war dragged on for 7 years as the Seminoles employed guerrilla tactics, exploiting the dense swamps and forests of Florida to outmaneuver larger U.S. forces. The U.S. military, despite deploying tens of thousands of troops and spending over $20 million, struggled to achieve a decisive victory. Osceola himself was captured in 1837 under a false flag of truce and later died in captivity, but the Seminoles continued to fight under leaders like Billy Bowlegs and Wild Cat. U.S. forces burned villages, destroyed crops, and forcibly relocated captured Seminoles to Indian Territory in what is now Oklahoma. By the end of the war in 1842, the U.S. claimed victory, having removed most of the Seminole population, but a small group remained in the Florida Everglades, where their descendants live to this day. These wars not only decimated the Seminole population but also exposed the human and financial cost of enforcing Indian removal policies. For the Seminoles, the wars symbolized their resilience and determination to resist subjugation, even in the face of overwhelming odds. For the United States, the conflicts underscored the violent realities of westward expansion and the lengths to which the government would go to assert control over native lands. The Seminole Wars remain a poignant chapter in the history of U.S. Native American relations, reflecting the tragic consequences of expansionist policies and the enduring struggle for sovereignty and survival.